Hello, good evening, and welcome to another session where you and I get to work together. So, you know that we started this series called CAT Concepts 2026, wherein in the very first session, I gave you a detailed plan of action for verbal ability. In the next one, we went ahead and talked about reading comprehension, and today we are going to practice a few verbal ability questions together. So just a quick recap, we know that we are preparing for the CAT exam, which gives us exactly three sections, and those three sections are, what's wrong यार, ये क्या हो गया मेरे सारे ग्राफिक्स को, क्या हुआ भाई, आज अच्छे भले ग्राफिक्स थे, सारा खराब हो गया. चलो, मुझे लगता है मुझे आई थिंक आई हैव टू गो ahead and write these manually then. They were working absolutely all right in the last class. Something happened today. So the three sections are: number one, verbal ability and reading comprehension, which is also popularly called English or just verbal. Then you have a section called data interpretation and logical reasoning. Now, in the CAT exam, the verbal reasoning part is accommodated in English. In all the other exams, though, verbal reasoning is actually part of LR. And then finally, we happen to have a section called quantitative aptitude. No matter which B school exam you prepare for, these three things are always going to be there for you. So out of these three, one of those sections is VARC, in case you do not know the full form, verbal ability and reading comprehension. So if I look at the last 5 years of the CAT exam, CAT 21 to CAT 25, if I look at these 5 years, then we have had 16 questions of reading comprehension spread over 4 passages, and we've had exactly 8 questions from verbal ability. In our last class, we actually went ahead and talked about the simple fact that we get 4 different paragraph based questions in verbal ability. So those 4 question types are Parajumbles, paragraph odd one out, para summary, and para completion. So that's what we have gone on to talk about so far. अब बताइए, so is there any other question, any concern? Atharv, Varsha, Chandramukhi, anything that you want to ask so far? And then we have Miss Sutar A. Zat. I don't even know what's happening here, and who are we talking to there? But do you have any question that I can help you with now that you and I are together? So you remember the plan that I asked you to execute in our previous 2 classes? Make sure that you do take that seriously, follow that religiously, and I'll remind you of the verbal ability part of it in a little while from now. So let's go ahead and dive into our first question. So what I'll do is that I will tell you which one of these 4 question types you have on the screen. You'd have your question number appearing here, and right below that question number, you'll see the question type. You and I are going to go ahead and focus on that. So here is your first question. In this question, you are given a paragraph. There are 4 answer choices, each claiming to capture the essence of the paragraph, each claiming to be a summary based on this paragraph. Your job is to pick up the best answer choice of the lot, one that comes closest to the summary of the paragraph, and then offer that as your answer. Please start. Let's see what you go on to choose. The time is coming to an end. What's your answer, guys? Come on. Okay. So we have our answers from Varsha, Atharv and Chandramukhi. 3 answers so far. Okay, तो चलिए पैराग्राफ पढ़ने से शुरुआत करते हैं. Let's start with the paragraph and then we will go ahead and dive into our options. So for some people, entrepreneurship is a way of life. Now, what do we mean by a way of life? If you call something a way of life, then it means that is the normal state of existence for you. That is your default. You cannot work for anybody else and you cannot stay without working on some business or the other. Then creating something new and leading a team is living the dream. So once again, you notice an extension of this. It's living the dream and a destination in its own right. So if you've gone through the best summary questions with me, you realize the first one introduces an idea and the second one essentially reiterates it. Just tells you what a way of life would typically mean. For others, it is only a means to an end. So entrepreneurship is not a way of life for them. It is just that there is something that they want to achieve in their life and they figure out that entrepreneurship is something that can help them reach that level, or might even be considered a detour en route to even bigger and better things. For some people it can be a means or it can even be a detour. So imagine somebody wants to do philanthropy, wants to benefit the society, but that requires money. He does not have money. So he may think that, hey, okay, let me take a pause. For the next 5, 7, 10 years, I'll run a business, earn money. And once I have that money, I'll move back to this goal of mine. So those 10 years are going to be a detour, right? Entrepreneurship is not just about making a lot of money or leading a company to greatness. Now comes in something new. Entrepreneurship is not about X or Y. In fact, the experience of entrepreneurship can make you better at, almost anything you can think of. So I think purely in terms of paragraph, a relatively easy paragraph to understand. Let's dive into the options. Everybody has essentially gone on to share A as the answer, but let's see. Entrepreneurship can be both a destination and a journey. Is that right? It can be a destination. It can be a journey. Or for that matter, even a detour. It has different, so this is something that is okay as per the paragraph, although this journey bit, does this very accurately capture it is only a means to an end, or might even be considered a detour to even bigger and better things? Yeah, something that happens on the way to your goal is obviously journey, or it can even be some smaller milestone in between, but then, so okay, slight distortion, but we can still make do with it. Let's just highlight it though. It has different connotations for different people, absolutely. For some, it is a way of life. For some, it's a means to an end and can be an extremely rewarding experience. I think the last one, something that helps you in every single aspect of life, can definitely be termed rewarding. So the rest of it is fine. B, people become entrepreneurs for different reasons, such as financial success or leadership. Where is this given or this given? Does this, so the moment you say such as, you are offering examples, you're offering specific details, but then the paragraph does not tell you that people become entrepreneurs for financial success. Not given. Leadership, once again, not given. Right? Maybe the first one, a part of it can be thought of as leadership, but then even here, it is not a reason for them. Becoming or being an entrepreneur is their way of life, and this leading a team is a part of that activity. They're not engaging in that activity so that they can be in a leadership role or a leadership position. Now let's see, the experience leads to a new way of life or enhanced learning. Once again, this is not given. So you notice there are quite a few issues that we have here. There are a few additions, certain things that are not a part of the paragraph, but they are part of the answer choices. So if I compare A and B, A is definitely better, so you can rule out B. C, entrepreneurship is not for everyone. Where does it say it is not for everyone? Does it say that not everybody can become an entrepreneur or should become an entrepreneur? No. So this idea in itself is alien. However, people who do take it up can benefit greatly from the experience. So distortion, addition, and it also goes ahead and misses out on some very crucial elements in between. Very easy option to eliminate. D, many benefits come from being an entrepreneur, while many entrepreneurs' goal is to make a lot of money. Once again, not given in the paragraph. For others, it is about creating a great company. Once again, not given. So I think very easy options to rule out, and therefore we can definitely choose A. So you were absolutely spot on when you shared A. So that's best summary of the paragraph. As the time goes by, as you start executing the plan and become better, you would notice that I will keep bringing questions which are trickier, questions which are more challenging. So keep working so that we are able to challenge you more and more. Here is the next question. So question type, Parajumble. You know what Parajumbles are? So let's go ahead and start our work. You are supposed to arrange these 4 sentences in a sequence that makes the most sense. In the CAT parlance, these are called the theta questions, or as we normally call it, these are non-multiple choice questions. So your time starts now. Go ahead and share your answer. All right, so I have my answers coming in now. So Varsha has shared her take. We have 8 more seconds to go and then we can start a discussion. See, in the actual exam, normally majority of the people may end up taking more than 2 minutes, but this is one of those relatively easier questions. So let's go ahead and check. Let's read it together and then we'll see. So let's start. The concept of disruption is a way for companies, the press, or simply individuals to think about questions of continuity and discontinuity. So this essentially tells you the purpose of the concept of disruption for companies, press, or simply individuals. So disruption is where you bring about a change in the way things were going on, and that change is usually quite abrupt. Okay. Now, among the most influential of these phrases is undoubtedly disruption. Why have I underlined this? Because this is going to be a clue. You notice a pronoun here. So whenever there is a pronoun, it must have a corresponding noun too. Let's see. Then third, there are certain phrases that are there are certain phrases, these phrases, you notice, there are certain phrases that are central to the sway the tech industry holds over our collective imagination. So the moment I see this, I can tell you that 2 should come after 3. Should it come immediately after 3? I don't know, but it should definitely come after 3. Right, Ritu? Then fourth, they do not simply reflect our experience, they frame how we experience it in the first place. So what does this they refer to? What does this they refer to? So I know that they would require a plural noun. You know that they is a plural pronoun, so it requires a plural noun. Now a lot of you put 3, 2, 1, 4. All the answers are putting in 1, 4. So is there anything in 1 that can be, is there anything here which is plural? Concept of disruption, that is singular. Companies, press, or individuals. Now, are the companies or the press or individuals, now I'm using the idea, are we saying that the companies, the press, or simply individuals do not simply reflect our experience? Individuals do not reflect our experience? So that's a little weird. The only plural possibility here is this, companies or individuals, and the idea does not really jive in with it, does not go with it. So can I put 1, 4? I cannot. So they do not simply reflect our experience, they frame how we experience it in the first place. So what can it refer to? What is it that does not just reflect our experience, it frames how we experience things? This has to be, once again, these certain phrases. And then 2 and 1 is something that I think all of us have managed to look at. So 2 plus 1, definitely yes. 3 after 2, definitely yes. So if I combine, so far we are looking at this and we need to place 4. We chose to place 4 here, but this place turned out to be wrong. 2 and 1 are very tight together, so you cannot have 4 here. So the only place that is left with us is this. So the best answer here is 3, 4, 2, 1. So there are certain phrases that are central to the sway of the tech industry. These phrases do not simply reflect our experience, they frame how we experience it in the first place. Among the most influential of these phrases is this. So fourth is basically a continuity of third. It is an elaboration of third. So, I mean, I know when you put in 1 and 4 together, you probably thought of it as a connection, but then frankly, there is absolutely nothing in 1 that you can refer to with the help of this they. And if you did that, it essentially means that we were either not careful in terms of thinking about the noun, the corresponding noun, or maybe we could not understand 1 and 4. So it's either comprehension or laziness. Right? So 3, 4, 2, 1 is going to be the answer. And with that, let's move over to one more parajumble. Now that you've seen how precisely we like to think, here is the next one. Why don't you go ahead, use these clues and arrive at the answer. Shoot. Okay, so let's see. Our time's up. No answer so far, so I'll wait for a little while longer. Let's wait a little longer so that we at least get an answer and then start. Or maybe we can work on it together. So let's start reading it together, okay? So as I said, this is obviously a little more difficult as compared to the previous one. And usually they do take more than 2 minutes for beginners. Let's work on these together. So what do I see here? However, what does it tell you? That you require a sentence right before it, which gives you contrast. A sentence or a group of sentences. So however, who did it and why? It. What? Remains a source of speculation that now bubbles as strong as ever. So the upcoming centenary and the discovery of new evidence have prompted historians, filmmakers, and forensic scientists to reinvestigate the matter. Which matter? Which matter are we talking about? Third, on this much, okay, this is already given in this sentence, so not exactly a clue here. On this much, everyone agrees, we lost the revolutionary leader. Once again, you notice the revolutionary leader on 22nd August 1922 near some place, a village in County Cork, sorry. And then fourth, it is the loudness that a century later still echoes around Ireland as an unanswered question. How we lost Michael Collins. So here is a noun. You notice? The revolutionary leader. Then where exactly is this village? Ireland. General to specific plus a noun, and then we can use the before revolutionary leader, because in order to use the, we need to know which leader is being talked about. So I can at this juncture itself tell you that fourth should come before third. Right? How we lost him? We lost him on this date. However, who did it and why? So we have this clarity about one thing. We know the date, we know the place, but we do not have clarity about some other factors. So 3 and 1 are definitely getting connected. So now you notice we have 4, 3, 1. We just need to place 2. Where do we place 2? Oh, pop widths up. That's a strange coincidence. So 431, where does 2 go? The upcoming centenary and the discovery of new evidence have prompted historians, filmmakers to reinvestigate the matter. So we know which matter, the matter of his death. But then so far we know that we have no answers. And once you say that we have no answers, it's only then that you say that, okay, in the light of new evidence, we have once again started looking for the answers. You reinvestigate something when the earlier investigation, earlier efforts yielded no result. So the earlier efforts did not yield any result is something that is getting clear in first. That is how you'd be able to justify the use of reinvestigate. So put it afterwards. If I combine all of these, our answer is going to be 4, 3, 1, 2. So you notice quite a few idea-based clues, some word-based clues like however and the name. You combine these and you're likely to arrive at the answer. So once again, it requires you to comprehend everything. Then it requires you to follow and adapt a very structured way of thinking. And I hope I'm able to demonstrate a bit of that structure to you while working on this together. Here is the next one. But this time around, it is not a para jumble. We know that we get this question type called paragraph odd one out. In order to be even more precise, can I say that it is a paragraph odd sentence out? So in these questions, the examiner gives us 5 sentences. 4 of them belong to the same paragraph. 1 does not. So the one that does not belong to that paragraph is going to be the answer. So go ahead, identify it and share it with me and share the answer with me. All right, let's see what your take is. बताइए बताइए क्या होना चाहिए. If you need a little while longer, take it and then share. Okay. So we're getting 3, we are getting 4. चलिए आइए काम करना शुरू करते हैं. पहले इनको पढ़ते हैं. Let's go ahead and read these first and then we will dive into the questions. So appearing a month after the US dropped 2 atomic bombs on Japanese cities, the article drew a further terrible conclusion. So I see the article drew a further terrible conclusion. In the worst crime of all, Jackson justified why aggressive wars were the human civilization's supreme crime. Now you notice this is the name of the article and here we are saying the article. Right? So there is this connection. Third, by the late 1940s, genocide replaced aggressive warfare as the threshold that shocked the conscience of mankind. Okay. So this is talking about by the time we reached 1940s, genocide. Genocide is mass murder, murder in large numbers of people belonging to a particular race or group. That replaced aggressive warfare as the threshold that shocked the conscience of mankind. So prior to 1940s, whenever you saw or witnessed aggressive warfare, one country trying to annihilate some other country, then your conscience will be shaken. But then by the late 1940s, people were not that bothered about, their conscience was not bothered by aggressive warfare. It was affected only when people noticed a genocide taking place. So if there are to be future wars, we have got to win them by being better killers, by killing more and killing more quickly than the enemy, by killing with less risk to ourselves. This can be a conclusion that has been mentioned in first. Fifth, in elaborating this argument, Jackson concurred that modern war has become more and more a struggle between whole populations, not between armies alone. So you notice 1, 2, 4 and 5 are all talking about what was stated in a particular argument. In that argument is essentially about aggressive warfare. Third is suddenly talking about genocide replacing aggressive warfare as something that troubled people's conscience. So 1, 2, 4 and 5 are all connected. In fact, if I were to look at it as a parajumble, I will say that 2, 1, 4 and 5 are getting connected, with third being the odd one out, and that is why the answer is 3, which is something that quite a few of you have gone on to share. So not fourth, but third. Okay, here is the next one, another odd sentence out for you. So let's go ahead and share your answer. All right, so the time's up, and the answer that almost all of you are sharing is 2, which is absolutely correct. 2 it is. You guys have nailed it on. Nailed it absolutely. You guys have absolutely nailed it. Huh? Bill, perfect, spot on. So that's odd sentence out. And now let us talk about a question type which has been a very recent entrant to the world of CAT. So in CAT 22, we got a question where we are given a sentence followed by a paragraph. The paragraph has 4 blanks. Here is the question. It's a variation of para completion. We call it sentence placement. So this sentence needs to be placed in this paragraph. Here are the 4 likely places for you. Which one of these 4 blanks is the best fit for this sentence? So use the kind of things that you use for Parajumbles, and I'm sure you will get this right. So your time starts now. All right, so blank 2, the time's up. Any other answer? Anything else that's bothering you? So you're absolutely right. It is indeed blank 2. We had this clue available, but this clue is a slightly advanced clue. Not very many individuals spot it at this stage of their CAT prep. If you could do that, that's so amazing. So absolutely right. blank 2 it is. Now in the exam you actually get answer choices, right? So you have A, B, C and D, and each answer choice refers to one of these 4 blanks. So it's not necessary that A will refer to blank 1, B will refer to blank 2. No. A can refer to blank 4, B can refer to blank 3, C can refer to blank 1, D can refer to blank. So you need to of course go ahead and engage in that bit of jugglery there, but otherwise, other than that, the major chunk is to put this in the right blank, and that's something that you have definitely gotten right. So 2 it is. So that's a taste of verbal ability. I hope that you use this in order to practice more and become better. Just a reminder for the plan, these are the things that I've shared with you in our session on VA. So I want you to read a lot, I want you to start writing a bit, and then treat all the 4 question types as a chapter to master, where the first chapter that you pick up is para summary. Go ahead, conquer that, and then move over to some of those other topics in the order that I have listed here. So if you happen to have any more questions, please don't hesitate to get in touch with me through Telegram. This is the QR code of the group and that's the name. And before I sign out, here is something that I wanted to leave with you. Your life is your story. Write well, edit often. The exact same thing applies to our preparation as well. Your preparation is your story. Prepare well and then keep on changing the strategies of your preparation on the basis of the feedback that your preparation, the questions that you attempt, the mocks that you go through, the feedback that you receive from those junctures. And if you stay at it, I'm sure it is going to turn into a fabulous, grand, immensely successful story. Right? So that's it for today. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, keep working hard. And the next one will have VA and RC both, so stay ready.